Guys, this is a quick tip on the using the IM608 or 508 to program a Dodge Promaster. This was a 2014 I did. Um, I did an add key. So basically, I'm just going to sum it up real quick what you need to do. You need to go in and read the immobilizer password in the BCM. And that is it right there. It's going to just show you the password. And at that point, once you do that, the next step you want to go into is, let me get out of here. Yes. I don't need to save it. I already got it saved. So once you read the immobilizer password, then you need to go into read immobilizer data where we were just at. You click read immobilizer data and it's going to show you your connected ODB. You have the key on. It's going to show you the information that I just had up on the screen. You hit OK. It's going to prompt you to save the file. And the next step you want to do is to take your blank key. You're going to have to use your programmer for this, by the way. You got to have a programmer, the XP400, right? So you're going to want to have this hooked up to USB, and you also need Wi-Fi. Then you go to make dealer key, right? And it's going to tell you to put the key. You're going to put your key into the blank slot. And by the way, the key that you're going to need for the, if you look at the original key for that car, that's probably going to be the the FCC ID. So you can get an aftermarket key with that FCC ID. Also, you can get it with this one as well. You might even find this key cheaper. For example, this one is $13. Sometimes it doesn't have the colors on the buttons. The logo might be a little different, but it's the exact same key. ID 46, 433 megahertz. And the FCC ID looks a little different in the beginning, but it's the exact same key. So if anybody, before anybody comments in the saying that no, it's different, it has to be the same, it is the exact same key, and I'm about to prove it. ID 46, 433 megahertz. And here's the actual documentation on this key and this FCC ID when they requested it on October 2015. This is referencing this FCC ID. And if you look, it's registered. It's basically same thing. It's just all for marketing. It's why they did this. And this is the original FCC ID. You can pause this and read it. This was the original FCC ID on this date. And the equipment is electronically identical. So before anybody comes in the comment section trying to say something crazy, there's the proof. And by the way, I just programmed it, 2 of them. So that is it. Okay, back to the IM608. Next step you want to go to is in key learning. Sorry, I don't have this up in the vehicle because I was kind of in a rush today, so I didn't get a chance to record everything. Yeah, so then in the BCM learning, key learning, adding the key, it's going to prompt you to turn the ignition on so that it can then read the information. It's going to connect to the BCM to query the key information and all of that. Here's the most important things when you're doing this. It's going to come to about the next screen. It's going to tell you to turn off the ignition to continue the process. And that's very important. You do need to turn off the ignition at that point. You do have to have it on initially. I believe it might tell you to have it off. No, but you need to have it on initially so you can communicate to the BCM. Even if you have the flashes on, it will not communicate to the BCM properly. You need to have the ignition on. Once it tells you to turn off the ignition for the rest of the process, this is where it's really important. You have to be very fast, okay? Because the BCM will time out and it'll lose security and you'll have to turn the ignition key back on and start over. So you need to do this within like 5 to 10 seconds. So you turn the ignition off and then you follow the prompts telling you to, insert the key that you want to program. You tell it, okay, it's going to say key successfully learned. It's going to show 1 key. At that point, you need to take that key out really quick, put in your next key, and then you're going to tell it, yes, you want to add another key. Yes, again, that you have the key in. And at that point, if you do it fast enough, it's going to tell you key successfully learned 2 keys. Now, if you did that too slow, it's going to tell you something like function not supported, I believe it's 7F, something like that. That means you did it too slow and you're going to have to start over, do it again. It's not going to wipe out the keys or anything like that, because once it fails right there, you just need to, it's going to tell you just press yes if you want to try again. So it's just basically going to start you back over. So you need to do that again. And once you add it, like the 2 keys at that point, or if you're just doing 1 key, that's fine. The next step is you need to turn the ignition on, right? After, as your second key, you got to turn the ignition on, because at this time the BCM might go to sleep, even if you have the flashes on, by the way. So once you turn the ignition on, you can proceed to the next screen that's going to tell you press yes if you want to finish and actually save these keys in the system, and any keys that were not added back in, if you don't have them with you, they will be deleted and you cannot use them again, which is what most likely you're going to do. You hit yes, and at that point, remember the ignition has to be on at this point or it's going to probably fail and you have to do this over again. At that point, you'll have your keys added, and you'll be done with the process. You can go to view the number of keys, like the screen I initially had up, or actually read and immobilize it there, and you'll see the key information. You'll see how many keys you got, and you'll see the key IDs. It would be different, or it would show the ones that you just added in if you added some new keys, and you're done. The remote buttons will program. They're automatically going to be programmed, and you got an ID46 chip that's going to start the car, and that's it. You're ready to go. So the most important thing with this is the timing to adding the keys so that it doesn't time out the security on the BCM. That's the kind of the tricky part on this one. All right, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. See you on the next one. Oh, just to show you, this is what I added it on a 2014 Promaster 3500. It says only 2015, but like I said, this is the FCC ID. It said listed, and the original key, OEM key, was this FCC ID, and as I showed you, they're the same, so it doesn't matter. Only difference would be like the coloring on the buttons and the the logo. I believe this is like a trunk for a car or something like that versus, the van. But the button layout functions the same, identical hardware.